So first off, what do you feel about the game today?
Yeah, I think today I played really poorly. The series overall, I think I actually didn't play well in any of the games. I actually think my teammates were playing pretty good some of the games, and that the games could have been a lot closer, I think, if I had played better. But overall, I think that they were just better than us as a team.
But like when I watched the previous games, it seems like this year NA is a little bit better than EU. Would you say that, or like how do you like compare the two versions, Western?
I wouldn't say that we're better than EU. I wouldn't say that we're like much worse. I think that obviously G2 were able to take games off of the two teams we weren't able to, so it's hard to say that we are better than them. But I think that we are pretty similar, I would say, but yeah, we're both just worse than the other two regions.
It does seem that you guys had a chance here and there. What do you think is like the point where you can maybe like work on to overcome like the other two regions? When you the chances that you guys got, what kind of chances were they? Strategy.
It's hard for me to really think about it because I think that they also have a lot better practice since they play against each other, you know. Or not each other, but they play against like better opponents in their regions. So when we play against them, we're doing a lot of catching up. But also, I think that they're just, you know, a little bit better than us individually. Actually, my teammates were doing pretty well in lane today, or they're doing like pretty well. So I think that we just have to work better as a team, figure out our strengths, and yeah, it's just not that simple, I think.
Overall, like over the years, like Western teams the advantage that people think they have would be like the originality of the drafts and stuff. Do you guys still think the Western teams have that, and do you think that's still something you work on as a region to maybe become a better region?
Yeah, I think that we have definitely should have some originality in our drafts. I think that if you you know, play the same drafts a lot of times that they played, then they're more practiced than you. They've played the matches more times, right? And you kind of want to surprise them a little bit, especially if you think that you're weaker as a team. It's good to surprise them with new picks that they might not be ready for. But we weren't able to do that. Sorry, we did play. I think we did play like some more new picks. Like we played some Bars Heimerdinger. I don't think anyone played that. But yeah, it's also hard because in scrims you're unable to win with your unique picks, so you end up reverting to playing what I guess they're playing. Yeah, trying to figure out like why you can't beat those champs.
So what do you think about GenG? You guys seem to have played the Chinese region and the Korean region, and how would you compare the two regions?
Yeah, I think our games versus GenG were very they were kind of just rolling over us in all of the games. I think that we were playing fine for the beginning of the game, and then at some point we just, you know, kind of lost the map, lost the game. Whereas versus BLG, it was like we were getting a lot of kills. They were inting kind of, but they were still ahead in gold, and they were still pressuring us really hard. And even though we were able to like make it feel close or seem close because we were fighting back, they were able to win in the end. And I think GenG was a lot more controlled in their playstyle, whereas there was a lot more fighting versus BLG, but you know, we were unable to beat either. So.
How would you rate the two regions?
I mean, I just think they're different playstyles. I think GenG versus BLG will probably be a pretty good match. Hopefully not a 3-0, but I do think that they do play different playstyles for sure, and I'm not sure which one's better or worse.
It's different.
Yeah.
Why did you guys decide? Why did you choose Poppy in the first game?
So we wanted a sort of front line for, you know, Nautilus and Blitzhawk, so that Aphelios, like the Lulu, Aphelios, and Syndra could be able to deal damage, I guess. But it did not turn out well.
So what do you think is probably the biggest problem C9 have and they're going to fix maybe in the next season?
Sorry, could you repeat that question?
What do you think is the biggest problem C9 have in this tournament, and how are you guys going to fix that in the next season?
Well, it'll be a lot easier, I think, to fix our problems going back to NA, just because the teams will be weaker, right? I think that for us personally, like as a team, we were, playing side lane poorly. Our mid-game macro wasn't good at the beginning. I actually think we worked on that a lot. I think that we overforce objectives a lot when we could be taking vision and choking the team out, and we don't do a good job of setting up the objectives, and that's something that we should work on for sure. I think that I personally overforce a lot of plays that don't need to happen when we're in a good spot in the game, or even if we're in a bad spot, sometimes I look for things that just can't happen. And yeah, I think those are things that definitely we could improve on.
Is there a way during the game that you think maybe you could have won a game? Like you feel like you did it was a pity that you guys did.
I think today none of the games to me felt winnable. After the first 10 minutes, like in the game 3, we'd lose a dragon fight. It feels like hard for us to play, and then game 2, I made the mistake of pulling the Herald, and I got solo killed by Wukong, which was really bad. And then that snowballed into us losing our mid tower. And in game 1, I think, again, we went to the Rift Herald, I believe, but we lost it. And then we started chasing them around the map, even though I think my bot lane were in actually a pretty good spot in that series. In this whole series, honestly, I think my bot lane was doing decent. So, yeah, it didn't feel like we could win any of the games, but I think that we also misplayed the mid-early game pretty poorly. And I think I played really bad today, like I said at the beginning.
Why do you think the gap is so big between the East and the West in this year?
I mean, I don't think it's that big, comparatively to the other seasons, years. I feel like it's pretty similar. Yeah, it's hard for me to say, right? Because we weren't able to win a single game, but we weren't really winning any games before. Last Worlds, for example, only one Western team made it to the top 8. I think it was Rogue, right? And in previous years, it's been very hard for the West to do well either. I think it just looks a lot worse right now because it's only best of 5s. When you play best of 1s, you have a higher chance of taking wins off of teams. But I know EU had their couple of years stint, but since then it's been pretty rough, I would say, in the best of 5 stages.
Maybe they should go back to best of 1.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you comment on Peanut as a jungler? What do you think his style is? I mean, he's a very experienced player, right?
Mm-hmm.
You are also a very experienced player. So how would you rate him, or talk his style, and what would you say about him?
I think Peanut's a very good player. I think he's very smart. He usually plays. He doesn't really play too pressuring of a playstyle on the enemy jungler, but he plays very well with his laners. He's usually always there to cover. He plays the map well, and I think overall he's just a solid jungler.
What is your goal for the next split?
I mean, for me personally, I want to win the next split, and then I want to go into Worlds, and I really want to do well. I know it's weird to say, I guess, because I say that every year, so does everyone else. But I wasn't too happy with my showing at this MSI, and hopefully I'm able to, kind of redeem that at Worlds.
So in several games we saw that the Baron team fights from the Western region is kind of the turning point of the game, where once you lose a Baron team fight, kind of lose the game overall. So how do you think you guys, maybe the Western team's approach to the Baron team fights versus Baron can improve or change, or what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, for us, I think we're overforcing our Barons a lot, not getting enough vision. I think that's something we could work on. I wasn't really anywhere near the Baron today, so couldn't really team fight around the Baron today. But yeah, I think in general, if we are winning, we sometimes, us, I don't know about the other teams, but us specifically overforce and play too fast on the Baron. So that's something we can work on.
Be more control and
yeah.
more surrounding. Do you have anything you want to say to any fans last?
Yeah, just thanks for supporting us. You know, I saw a lot of people supporting us today, even though we got 3-0. So I'm just glad people came out to support us, and hopefully we can have a better showing next time.